Ricky,
What's up, big dog?
David,
Up, dude?
hey, what's going on, you guys? How y'all doing today?
Man,
Pretty good.
That's good. So, y'all can introduce yourself. We'll start with Ricky. Ricky, where are you from? What got you started in the motocross? How long have you been doing it? What's your plans for the future?
I'm Ricky Bobby Jackson. I'm from Shelby, North Carolina. I got into motocross about 4 years ago. Got out of jail, started dang racing, picked it up, seen I was kind of good at it, and been pursuing it ever since. And looking to do a lot more in the future with it.
Yeah, I know Chase used to race too, didn't he?
Chase,
Jackson.
yeah, my cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah, he used to. He done got out the sport now.
yeah. David, you tell us a little bit about you, your background, what got you in the moto, what's your plans for the future?
Well, my neighbor actually got me into it. He has a little track. I'm sure you've seen it whenever you've been to my house. He's got that little just stupid circle track around there at the bottom of his yard. And I used to just watch him and his kids ride around down there, and I was like, dude, I gotta do that. So I went down there and he helped me out. I wouldn't have been in it if it wasn't for him. He sold me my first bike for $400. It was a KX85. It had blown out crank bearings. I had to put so much work into it, but I rode it for like 6 months and then got more serious about it and got a 250. And then
Yeah,
just
I
went
think
up
you
from
still
there.
got that 85, don't you?
Yeah, it's sitting outside in front of my house. I'll never get rid of that thing.
Clapped out.
Oh, yeah, it's clapped.
Uh,
Jeez.
Ricky,
Yep.
I've known you since the beginning. Well, going on 2 years, but the progress, man, what's really gotten into you? I mean, it's like you kicked it in high gear here in the past few months.
Man, them injuries set me back. I had them two major ones. I had them at Revolution. Then I came back, and first race back, I broke my face and my neck again, and you know it kind of set me down for a minute. But here the past few months, man, we've been back on the grind. We ready to get back to it. I'm ready to be back out front. I'm ready to try to go qualify. It's in grind mode, bro. We ready.
Yeah, and what is it? Next weekend is when it kicks off at South of the Border. Well, I know this weekend's Diamondback.
Yep. I'm gonna go get some practice at Top Gun this weekend. Get my seat in, and then we're gonna be at South of the Border on the 23rd.
I hear you. David, what's your plans for the future? Our bikes got stolen at 221 and yet to hear anything back. We're struggling. We're trying to be on the grind to get our bikes. If you do end up getting a bike, what's your plans for the future in the next year or so?
This year, I just plan to get back in the flow of things. Just like get more seat time, dude. I've had like probably 8 hours of seat time in the past 8 months.
Yeah,
It's
and
rough.
yeah, it really messes with your mental state of mind too.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say it's safe to say I haven't really lost it, but I mean, definitely not as comfortable. But next year, I want to have goals. But this year, I just want to ride and get back on the bike.
Yeah, and I know you were talking about some injuries that you had practicing. What was the mental setback on that?
Really, the broken arms. There wasn't really much physical. It really was all mental. Like just confidence and being scared to do it again.
Yeah, injuries are not fun at all. So now that we got a little bit of a background on you guys, I want to talk about a couple of key points, and I'll mention the key points, and y'all can go back and forth and talk about it, and I'll put my input into it. But Loretta Lynn's is coming up, as we just got done talking about. Who are you looking forward to seeing there, or any local guys around here? Who do you see that's going to make it?
I really want to see Dax there if he don't go pro before that, because him without Deegan there is gonna be cool, I think.
Yeah, that'll be epic. Yeah, I like to see that too. I like to see Dax Bennett there. I like to see him win it for sure. Locally, I don't really know who's trying to do it this year. So we'll know on March 11th when we see everybody at Cactus Creek who's gonna be trying to go qualify at a on a pass.
Yeah.
So we'll know who's going for it and who's not this year.
You think
Is
old
that the
Keller's going to go
qualifier you're
for it
hitting
again?
this year, Ricky?
You say what, boss?
Is that the qualifier you're hitting?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to. Well, I ain't no try. I'm gonna go to south of the border, and then I'm gonna go to A on the Pass on the 19th.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely gonna go back to Georgia. That's the plan. Yes, sir.
David, I know you typically ride around with us. You hop on the truck and ride out with us. What are you looking forward to tracks this year? I mean, there's a few new ones like Black Ankle, and then all these rumors and stuff that they have going around with Kathy's Creek. What's y'all's take on that?
Let's go.
With me, bro, Cathy's Creek. I love the track, love the layout. Either way they run it, forward or backwards, I'm there. I'm ready for that gate drop. Black Ankle, I ain't never been there. Heard it's a sick place to go. Definitely worth checking out. Ready to go see it. As far as local racing go, I love local racing. I like being with everybody. I like seeing the same crews. I like being in the pits with everybody. And you can't beat local racing, but when you're going out, I mean, it's just all that competitiveness that you had at these local races. Now you got to take it to a bigger stage, and you gotta perform. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it done.
Yeah. Y'all know Iron City. Y'all have known about it in the past, back when it was the area qualifier. I think they did it for 2 years in a row. But, it was in the very back of the section. They ran the entire track. And then I think it was a couple years before the pandemic, they cut it down way short. And TJ put the work in and kind of extended it. What's y'all's take on the future of that track?
To be honest, at the moment, I really don't like that track. But I mean, it's a fun practice track. But I'd like to see him open the back section back up and have some bigger races there.
I feel the same way, bro. I really do. I feel like the track's too small right now. Good place to go get some seat time if you want it. But they also need to open it up where they had the whole track, bro. That big track layout was 10 times better than what they got going on right there, right now.
Yeah, TJ had mentioned about how it had the national feel to it because of the hills and the incline changes. You really can't see on that side of the track, because of the inclines. So, it leaves it a mystery when you're going to that section, as a spectator, you're waiting to see who's going to come out first. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. So it makes it fun in that point. But, I wouldn't even care if where they have the parking lot that they just added where the billboard was for sponsors and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if they, they just did that little tabletop over the creek. If they can make it take a sharp left and run something uphill up there with whatever kind of jumps you want to have, and then come back down into the rollers, I think that would add to the track a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely needs another section or two out there.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Let's hit on some key points in the Supercross scene. We'll start with the kickstart Kenny. Ricky, I know that's your guy. What's your take on him?
That's my boy. He keep grinding. He's still out there digging, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been in top 5 finishes a lot this season. I know he had I think a 1/6 place maybe. I mean, coming off, I understand where he coming from though. Getting on a new bike. I mean, even though he's been on the bike previously, he's been on a Honda for 5 years. So from going from that Honda to that Suzuki and still performing and being in the top 5 of these guys just about every race, I mean, I'm with him, man. And my boy's still digging. I'm gonna keep rocking the 94.
I hear you. David, what's your take on it?
On Kenny?
Yeah, old kickstart Kenny.
I don't know. I think he's going to retire this year. I really think he's going to retire at the end of the year.
Why you say that? What makes you think that?
Because he just ain't how he used to be. He ain't really like a top 5 guy. He's a win guy.
Do you think
He's a
injuries
what?
played into that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'd like to see him win a championship. You know, he's never got one.
He's got a 250 championship.
Yeah, he's got 250, and he's come close to a 450, but the injuries got involved.
If he hadn't had that wreck, I think he'd be in a completely different place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard not to talk about him. And I mean, it's a very hot subject right now, but Hayden Deegan, what's your thoughts?
My favorite rider, dude. I love that guy.
Do you think he,
buddy?
well, it's like TJ said, you know, the critics are never going to shut up. You know, he had that, what was it at Loretta's where the dude wanted to buy the bike?
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, they put a claim on the bike, you know, thinking it had a factory motor in it and stuff, and that it's a whole nother subject. But that's when the haters really started to, you know, pop up. But when he got that whole shot in that heat race and looked comfortable and was actually starting to check out a little bit, you know, with the weather the way it was, you know, do you think that played a role into the way he rode?
For sure. Definitely.
Ricky, what's your take on it?
I mean, the kids got a lot of talent, bro. The kids got a lot of talent. It's only his second race. You know what I'm saying? I know he got a heat race, but I mean, it really matters in the supercross races. You know,
yeah.
The kid's got a lot of talent though, for sure, and he's gonna definitely be something in the sport. Most definitely.
Yeah. Do you think all the training that, you know, they say that, you know, you can't really make it in racing unless you got money? You know, Brian's got money, but it's not all Brian. You know, Deegan had to have the mentality going into the sport, knowing what his dad's standards was, and that was going to exceed his. You know, do you think Hayden, most of what Hayden has done, do you think he's put work in on his own, or do you think it's because Brian's pushed him to?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, he definitely puts work in on his own, but I don't think he'd be putting the work in on his own if it wasn't for his dad.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's got to be coming from both sides. He got to want it just as bad as his dad wants it for him. You know, so.
All right. Before we go on to the next subject, Ricky, do you have any sponsors or any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Creative Motorsports, Suspension Solutions. And I'd like to shout out the Hooligans, you know, my boy Jason and Jeremy, and my boy Frankie out at Creative Motorsports. Holler at my boy Jake at Suspension Solutions if you need that suspension work done.
Yeah. And, you know, Jake shows up to the tracks a lot, and Frankie does too. So if you're running the Outlaw Series or anything like that, you know, you're going to have somebody there. If you're sponsored by them and you got to go, or you need something at that time, you know, they're going to work with you. David, is there any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Not at the moment. I kind of don't have a bike.
Well, did you have any sponsors when you did have a bike?
Not really. I kind of just did it all by myself. I mean, I had people that would help me out, but I wouldn't really call them a sponsor.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get you a few sponsors this year. So we'll work on that. Is there any other subjects that y'all want to touch on? I mean, I know that the subjects I've touched on have been pretty repetitive with the last couple people I've talked to, but I mean, is there anything that y'all want to talk about as a local racer? You know, what you want to see within the community, within the series, what could change, what could be better, any of that?
I'd like to see better security at the tracks for sure.
Yeah, that, and I'd like to see another track around here somewhere. Another track pop up. Like that'd be pretty cool. Huh?
We need a track that's open all week other than Shelby.
Yeah, we need a track. We need a track that we can go to every day of the week if it ain't right. It'd be nice to have one of them around.
Yeah. And now, David, you brought up a good point, security. What could the tracks do to, you know, kind of, I'm not going to say eliminate the factor of thieves coming in and taking bikes, because you're not going to be able to eliminate the entire factor, but what could you help reduce theft within dirt bikes, you know, at tracks and stuff?
really, if they just did what they said they were gonna do, I don't think there'd be as much of a problem. Like they got the signs up that say there's cameras. There's no cameras out there. They say they lock the gates, but they just dummy lock them, which is how they got in.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I was about to say. I mean, they say the gates are locked, but the gates actually ain't locked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People still pulling in, people still pulling out. All right, when the sign says gates are locked at 10 or 9 or 11, whichever time it may be, all right,
Yeah.
bro, you should be locked in there. You know what I'm saying? You should have what you need, and the gate should be locked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or at least, and I hate to, even put this out here as an idea with, prices of everything going up, some entry fees and gate fees, some of those have went up a little bit, but, everybody chip in $10 at the first of the race, that'll help get multiple facilities cameras out there. And then, we can possibly add, chipping into having an off-duty officer come out there and, be at the gate to check people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or if they just ran the VIN numbers on all the bikes, like just before you race, just make sure they run the VIN number on the bike. It's really all they got.
I feel like they could keep a file, and I get it would be a lot of hard work to do, but keep a list of people that come regularly, put their VINs in the computer system. With anybody that shows up the race, put their VIN as their bike under their file. If anything ever was to happen, you got the VINs, you got the serial numbers, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all joining. Hopefully we'll see y'all out at Cathy's Creek on March 11th.
Yeah, see me there.
And I know, Ricky, I'm going to see you Saturday at Top Gun.
We'll be there, dog.
Yeah. And, I want to touch on something, all y'all heard about me talking about was the Yamaha this year. But at this point, I'm just desperate for a bike. So we're looking at a KTM right now, and I'm supposed to go pick it up Friday.
Heck yeah, dude. That's fun. That right now, too.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Team Honda all day, baby. We bleeding red till we die.
I hear you. All right, you guys. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can get some good footage of y'all racing this year. And get to know a little bit more about these local racers who want to make a name for themselves or stand out, but don't have. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I'm trying to help these local racers get put out there, to make a name for themselves. So, that's a main goal of mine this year is to help get more local racers noticed to where when sponsors do come into play, you don't really have to fight that hard for them because people already know who you are. They know what skill you're at, what your accomplishments are, and what they see you in the future. So, all right, well, y'all go on and enjoy this beautiful day. It's actually pretty nice. I think springtime's right around the corner, man.
Man, I'm ready.
All right, well, David, I appreciate you joining, man.
Yep. See y'all, boys.
All right, big dog.
Later, guys.
All right,
Later.
boss.